Well, spring practice is over, and we heard from Ryan Grubb. And I'll tell you what we do know. Ty Simpson is the starting quarterback, which we speculated on here for weeks. But we're going to let him tell you. We're going to break it down. We'll listen to what he said about the quarterback battle and why it's significant, how it broke out, and what this spring means to fall and what that means to Alabama in 2015. Guys, thanks for hanging out with us on the Bama Tailgate Show. I'm Mick Gillespie. Make sure that you like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. I know I ask you to do that every day. And for Alabama fans, that's easy. For you Auburn fans, hey, thanks for hanging with us today. Good to see you. What do you say, everybody? Mick Gillespie, Bama Tailgate Show. Thank you guys for hanging out, and let's get this party started by talking quarterbacks. I think the best way to do this is to just get Ryan Grubb on there, Bama's offensive coordinator, and let him talk about it. But the show's brought to you by our friends over at Pearl River Resort. You watch the Masters this weekend. They've got Dancing Rabbit Golf Course. It's the Augusta that you can play an hour and a half from Tuscaloosa, 2 hours and change from Birmingham. The Azaleas and the Oaks are two multi-million-dollar courses that you're going to love. But let me get Ryan Grubb on here and let him talk a little bit about this QB battle, because he's going to tell you exactly what we've been saying, and that is that Bama has a QB, and it's Ty Simpson, and he's the guy.
Mainly quarterbacks. And I think I mean that in a good sense, in that, the investment with those three guys, what you wanted to see was who are the guys that were going to be able to take in a game plan and function correctly. And so for us, schematically, some of the things that we did and some of the things that were going to be required of the quarterback this year was a lot. And some of the nuances that go with that take a lot of work. And luckily for us, we got a great situation, honestly. Like Nick and I have always worked well together, and, being in the room together and being able to coach those guys, and then having the freedom when we feel good about the message that's being sent, that it's everybody's hearing and getting the same feedback is encouraging. And that's a part I felt like, we really pushed that room a lot this spring. And, I know everybody wants to know about that position and where things are at. And I would say this, at the end of the day, if we're playing a football game tomorrow, Ty Simpson would start, and he earned that.
All right, there you heard it. He said it. He said Ty Simpson earned the quarterback job, and he did earn the quarterback job. And the little bit that we saw on A-Day is what we kept hearing about in practice, is that he's just ready for the position, that he's more consistent than the rest of the quarterbacks, that he knows the offense. He understands the schematics of things better. The team respects him. He's a team leader. And it really made perfect sense that he would be the guy. Austin Mack, on top of things, threw some picks when he was in there. And then I'm going to let him talk more about this. But, let's just stay with Simpson. Simpson's been there 4 years. And if he wasn't the starting quarterback, then why is he here? That he's going to go somewhere else. So he won the job for right now. Now, that doesn't mean that he's going to have the job when it's all said and done. I mean, in the more competition that they have, the better off they're going to be, because you want competition. You want competition. The more that they're out there fighting for positions means that the better they're going to be, because they're going to have to be sharper to win those positions. And then when the games start, I also like the fact that Ryan Grubb just seems so confident, so focused. It just feels like this position was made for him, and that he's excited to be at Alabama. I can feel it. But there's just a toughness to this guy that he brings to the table that I think Alabama could have used last year. But it was great hearing him say that, yep, Ty Simpson's the starting quarterback. Now, what we will do is I want you to hear the rest of this, and then we're going to play another clip from it.
Austin Mack made huge strides. Also, available reps were the same, and he did a really good job. He came out and developed, just was some of the nuances and take care of the football and things like that. Thought Ty showed out a little bit better. And then, honestly, Keelan exceeded my expectations. I think for a young man his age, he never gave into that opportunity. We challenged him with that. Don't give into, I'm a freshman and this and that. And he didn't. He reminds me, I say this all the time to him, and I mean it as the biggest compliment. He reminds me so much of Michael Penix, just in his demeanor. He has such a calm demeanor. Sometimes, you need to find the other edge of that and put a little bit of rush on it. But he did a great job, and he had a couple days at the end that, he wished he played a little bit better. But, man, I thought he made huge strides. Those guys all, Nick did a great job of managing the number of reps for guys, trying to keep the opportunity very equal. And by no means does that mean that we're playing a game tomorrow, and I think there's still a lot of work to be done. I think the message really is that, we got to be even better.
So there you have it. Just throwing it out there again, talking about Austin Mack, what he brings to the table, and Keelan Russell, what he brings to the table, and that Ty starter. How about Ty Simpson is the starter right now if the season were to start now, and that's not the case. But I love hearing him talk about the QBs. I think we're all intrigued by this. It's interesting. This has been a position of strength for Alabama for a while now, going out and developing some of the NFL's best quarterbacks, and those guys leading Alabama, where in years past, the quarterback was, under Nick Saban and even other coaches, not really as crucial. I mean, I think that the quarterback's always really important, but some of really the genius behind some of Nick Saban's teams were that, that you didn't need somebody to go out there and make plays. You just needed somebody to basically manage the game. And I don't believe that's being a game manager. I think that it's just like, hey, don't make mistakes, force the other team to make mistakes, and take advantage of our strength, which is that we're disciplined and we have a great defense. The game's changed because of the rules. You got to have somebody that can go out there and make plays. And that's hopefully Ty Simpson, but he makes less mistakes, and I think that's important too. And I love hearing Grubb talk about the quarterback. So this is the final thing I want him to for you guys to hear about him talking QBs, and then we'll kind of just get into where this leads us to for the rest of the season moving forward, because I think it's important to hear what he says and then kind of build off of that.
No questions on the quarterbacks today. I'm messing with you. That would have been disappointing, huh? I was super happy with all three of them. I mean, I think that, from a competitive standpoint, that's the first thing you want to see is do all three guys have the competitive stamina to play the position? Because if you're not ready for that type of scrutiny and that type of just the competition level that you need to have and the mindset that you need to have as a quarterback to play at any level, much less in the SEC here at Alabama, I think that those guys showed that competitive stamina every day. And as far as development, I thought all three of them have, different strengths and weaknesses that we were working on, trying to celebrate the strengths and really work on some of the weaknesses. And obviously you have a wide range there from a first-year player and Keelan to a guy like Ty that's been around the block and kind of middle of the road as far as experience is Austin. So I thought from those parameters, how the guys got together and worked together on building their own game, I thought was really impressive, and for us, I thought that was the starting point, is just how do you get each guy to grow in their each individual spots, and they did a good job with it.
So, yeah, just basically loves all three guys according to that, and that he feels like that they've got a good quarterback room. Someone asked a question about maybe adding a fourth scholarship quarterback. He said that's a possibility. Just depends on, who's out there, and that could happen, just to add somebody, because you like to have four just in case somebody gets hurt. You have three, and there's been years where you get to the end and all of a sudden you don't have any quarterbacks. I can remember Florida State playing in a national championship game against Tennessee, and they got like wide receivers playing quarterback, so it's one of those positions that is important. And you want some depth there. But Alabama feels, just from listening to Grubb, very comfortable with this group of quarterbacks. Simpson ahead of Mack, and then Russell down here. It slotted out exactly the way that we kind of thought it would. But it also slots out the only way that it makes sense. Like the math works too. If you would have put Simpson as the backup and he transfers, then you have two quarterbacks, and then you're in a lot of trouble. But he won the job outright. He won the team over first, and he's going to be an asset to Alabama moving forward. So this is, from here on out, it's going to be Ty Simpson's team. And if he stays healthy, he's going to be the starting quarterback. And I think that's a good thing for this team. The players know it. You heard Isaiah Horton saying, hey, I transferred to Alabama to play with this guy. The wide receivers need somebody to feed them the ball. My gut feeling is he's going to be a lot better at spreading the football around than Milroe was last year. And he's got a lot of weapons, so we'll see what happens in the transfer portal. But a lot of wide receivers in that room that are talented. They lost 6 last time the portal opened, or is everybody dialed in, and it's going to be, something to watch. But the offensive line is such a big part of this too, and kind of how they contribute. And Ryan Grubb loves kind of knowing the offensive line part of the scheme too. And it's great. And that may be a show tomorrow, listening to him talk about, different guys on the line and how their play helps, or, what he sees them being able to do in the future. But this guy there's a reason why he was so sought after when he was at Washington, why he went to the NFL. I think Ryan Grubb makes a huge difference. And he said the biggest challenge was the quarterbacks, getting the quarterbacks, knowing the quarterbacks, because they're the key to your offense. And that's every football team. And that's becoming this game every season now. You're going to win or lose based on QBs. Guys, here what I want to talk about is New Life Art. Make sure you use our promo code Bama Tailgate. Pimp out your man cave. I need one of those guys right there. That would be a great spot for one here in the underground bunker that I'm coming to you from today. But anyway, like, subscribe, thumbs up all the time on here, and take advantage of our code at newlifeart.com, Bama Tailgate. We appreciate them. And then Pearl River Resort, our partner here on the channel. They are in Philadelphia, Mississippi, hour and a half from Tuscaloosa. It's an easy drive. Table games, the best slots around, and I don't mean just in Mississippi, I mean around. I mean, they have amazing slots at both Silver Star and Golden Moon. The golf course, Dancing Rabbits, just like Augusta, you can go there and play. You don't even need a membership. And they have 2 great courses, the Oaks and the Azaleas. I know some of you guys have told me that you've swung over there for different events. They've got concerts coming up, including some of your favorites like Vanilla Ice and CNC Music Factory and Young MC. I can't imagine those guys. Back in my high school days, I remember them playing a lot. And then I was at the stadium on Saturday and I heard them too. That classic rap. Anyway, all that, guys, at Pearl River, check them out. And we appreciate them for their partnership. And we'll talk to you again tomorrow. But roll tide, everybody.
To Pearl River Resort.